is one of the things that I'm doing right now is with what's going on with this, you may see it go Before we get into the video, I want to guys give you kind of to notify you media where I can be there personally and just this. It's not like Facebook. It doesn't matter, and not in the sense where it's less hostile. Actually, I believe that Twitter is more hostile, but But the point is the reason I use it is because, one, it's just like a place. It's like having email, you know. You can just get it, and you see it there, and you can read it. That's it. It's just like a great way to get things like this, you know. Where Facebook is like... Facebook, they give you, like, some people, they give you like 9 paragraphs to read first before you get into an image or a video or an article to read. It doesn't matter what it is. It could have like a complete essay to telling you their own personal opinions about it, you know. So, but Twitter, that's just what it is for me. For Twitter, for me, if you really want to see, if you want to talk to me, engage with me, follow me on Twitter. Get it. If you don't have one, get one. If you don't, that's fine. It doesn't bother me at all. But if you really do want to keep up with me and you want to interact with me, then follow me on Twitter. Same in the name that I have, same name, TLOU Brandon. It has a cross with a dove on front of it, right before in front of the cross. So that's the one. I have 2 because I tried it once and I really didn't keep up with it for some reason. But this one I'm doing now, the one I have now, is the one that I'm keeping up with. So that's kind of what I wanted to tell you guys before we actually get into this episode, is that before we get into this episode, I first want to tell you about that. If just to ask you, do you want to see the compilation of just The Last of Us Part 2 gameplay? Because I have like hours worth of footage, and they may not be like the best professionally. They may not be like pleasing to the eyes and like never seen before gameplay. Don't expect stuff like that from me. I'm simply just not the type of guy who can just throw out the most crazy, incomparable gameplay that's never happened before. I can't do that. All right, I simply just cannot do that. And if I do, it's not because I intended to. It just happened to me, and it just in that point in time where it just was in my favor. So today we are going to be talking about something that obviously is going to have a lot of people talking and a lot of people getting angry. And I can't even really say, you know, because if you guys don't know, PlayStation released a video. It was a trailer for The Last of Us Part 2, but it was a completely... I didn't know what this trailer was. I was like, holy crap, The Last of Us Part 2 Abby trailer. Okay, what we're going to do? Is this an actual DLC that's going to come out? I didn't see anything about that. No release date, and they only used the footage from the game. And so then I went on their Twitter page because I followed them there, and I was trying to figure out what was this thing all about, because if it was something that was like an expansion or a deal, or not expansion, excuse me, but if this was going to be a DLC, you would imagine that there would be more people talking about it, and there would be, you know, like every single news feed that I am subscribed to, or even just looked at once in my life, it would have been completely just barraging my entire phone, because they pick up on that stuff. But the very fact that it didn't, it showed me a little bit, and it kind of helped me understand, kind of, I didn't want to believe it, but I kind of had in my mind that this thing is not as big. It's not really a DLC thing going on. And then I checked their Twitter page. Okay. Just by going off of this Twitter page, just by going off the Twitter page, of their own Twitter page, it seems that this trailer is a way to get new players to play The Last of Us Part 2. I don't know that for sure. I've looked at it and I've read the heading of it, the subheading, and because you can post something, you can write a comment on top of it to as your own, and I understand exactly if they're going down that road. That is, they're battling for their game that they have worked on for a couple of years, okay, and because a lot of people have been a lot of new players, people who've never heard of The Last of Us before. It tends to get a lot of negative feedback from people who reviewed the game. And I'm not talking about like media sources and all that type of stuff like IGN or some other where you want to call it, a gaming platform, wherever you want to call it, to where they give reviews. I'm talking about when the public got it, when the majority got their hands on this game, okay? Or like on PlayStation, where you can give a rating, where the public, the majority of individuals got their hands on the game, and it seems like because of the reaction of the majority of the public, many people are like, we're not playing this game. People hate it. And so since the majority of people hate it, that means it has to be bad. And maybe this is their way of trying to draw new players in and tell them, hey, play the game. All right, do not rely upon other people to tell you what this game is like. Obviously, and many people think this is like a desperate, pathetic attempt to get players back. I don't think Naughty Dog would stoop that needy. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before about many things, so I don't know. But I can tell you this, man, that that not everyone is a fan of this game, and that's okay. That's fine. That you're not a fan of the game. I am. Even for Part 2. And since Part 2 is better than Part 1. Because it captured an amount of emotion that the first game couldn't do. So, in that sense, it was better. Because I think they're... just take my glasses off for a moment, because I don't really like... I look at the screen and I see like, oh... I see like glare off of my glasses. I don't like that at all. I don't like that one bit. But back to the point. Many people don't like this game, and that's, like I said, it's fine. But we got to be very careful when we start judging people, because we don't know why they made this trailer. I have no idea why PlayStation made that trailer. I have no idea. Because I've read comments. I read comments all the time. I never really engage in much, especially with Last of Us Part 2 stuff. It's very controversial, very dividing game. Not only that, but just people that are just mean and just completely they have lack of any type of respect for anybody or of their own opinion. And sometimes our opinion can seem like we're trying to say that it's literally the best game in the world, and that's just how it is to us. And then there's other people who think it's the worst. That just depends on your own opinion about the game. But what I'm trying to get to you is is that this game, obviously everyone has different opinions. And as I was reading the comments, I saw there were some who were speculating that this could be a sign that they were coming out with new stuff. If there is a sign of this. Now, the likelihood of them showing something like this to kind of foreshadow them releasing something new, like a DLC, it's very unlikely. Because The Last of Us, because PlayStation does this, especially with The Last of Us, okay? The Last of Us Part 2 has been one of the most divisive games ever. I have never really seen any other game that has divided a fan base so fast and so smoothly fast as The Last of Us Part 2 has done. And I don't know if that was their goal. I don't know. But I can tell you this right now, that I knew that they thought that there were going to be players that are going to like it, and then the players who were going to love it, and then players who were going to hate it. Those are the two groups. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. You're going to have one of those two strong emotions. And there are people like me who are confused with their emotions toward it. But in the end, we love the game, and we will support the game because it is The Last of Us Part 2. That's it. It's The Last of Us Part 2. I mean, there isn't really much else that we can say about this game and argue and bicker about it, but it's not going to change the fact that this is The Last of Us Part 2. And we can either be content with the game and how it became, or we can bicker and be disappointed and be upset with it, and it literally not doing anything. Those are the two things that we can do. And so when we're coming to this, let's come to it to understand the possibility that Naughty Dog, working on this for years. I think they started working it after Left Behind was released. Okay, so it's been like 6 years. 6 years of making this game and being passionate about it. And not only that, but keeping the hype in such a great way. And then literally, as it got closer, it increased like all the more. It increased so much when it came right near the release date. So, excuse me. So, I'm very, 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 very... I'm very passionate about that. I really think that they are just trying to draw new players because their game has been so, I would say this unjustly characterized as one of the worst games ever, and that's for one person. And so since that one person has such influence over a mass amount of people, the people there who are under his or her influence is sitting there and is like, why would I buy this game? I don't think Naughty Dog really cares about that. I just don't think they care about that. I don't think they care much about pleasing everybody or even the majority. I think they simply made the game they want to make, and they want new players to come in. They want new players to experience it for themselves. They do not want someone else telling you of their own experience. All right? Don't know. And I can understand that. That's like, that's, once again, you've made something for 7 years, and then the majority of people won't even play it because other people have said it. Other people have said it, and they're like, oh, this game sucks. Well, that means that, I'm not going to play the game because they said it was bad. Or even, I've even heard people say, I've already watched the gameplay. I've already watched it. I've watched the gameplay. I've watched the story narrative. I've already watched it. So I don't even have to, play it. Well, there's a difference between playing the game and watching it. They're two separate things. Because you are in the controller. You have your hands on the controller and you are moving. You are playing. you will experience things alone playing this game rather than having someone sit there and play it for you. And so you can spectate, okay? It's different. I've been there. I've watched games. Trust me, I've watched people play games that I don't have a PC for, or I don't have an Xbox for, like Gears of War. I like that game. I've liked the game since I was a little kid, and since I have a I have a PlayStation, I cannot play it. And trust me, it isn't the same. It's not the same. It's not. Because I played it when my brother, I played. I remember I played it when I was younger, and I was so entrenched in the game, in its story, and its gameplay. And I remember when I was alone in my dad's house at night playing this game. I truly, really. Oh crap! What the heck happened here? There we go. I'm gonna try to. Oh, good night. That is a little too bright. But, so you guys kind of get, what I mean. I'm trying to find a different place for this. But you guys understand where I'm coming from, okay? You guys do. You guys understand where I'm coming from. Hopefully. So yeah, I mean, I can't, with this game, obviously people are upset about it, obviously, but please guys, play the game for yourself. If you have not played this game, but you have watched someone play it, or you heard someone else's review who hated the game, or even liked the game, and you're going to take it by their word, by their own review. Remember, video games is an art. It's a form of art. All right, it's a way to express one's passion and view, and his passion, his view, his opinions, what he believes in. But also, it actually represents a lot of what the person is trying to synchronize the message, trying to connect with people. And trying to send a message. And so, in this, it's an art form. It's an art. It's a project. It's a piece of art where it describes things. It gives things off, and some people like it, some people don't. And that's the thing. You cannot go by, because your opinion is not a fact. All right, your opinion isn't a fact. And so you saying with this game here, it's a piece of entertainment. It's art. And art is not ever bad. It's never good or bad. It depends upon the person who is looking at it. That's art. Now, there's clearly, like writing. I have heard bad writing. Okay? Alright, bad writing where they can't spell correctly. Obviously, that in itself that's a fact. When you do not spell correctly, that's a problem. How are you expect them to understand and go with you if you can't spell correctly? Now, you could write very much like the Bible. The Bible is not like a novel. It's not a novel. It's not like, it doesn't have descriptions. It doesn't have concrete words. It's very documentative. It's like historical documents. It's just writing down facts, and it's just witnessing. I've seen writers do that, and that isn't bad. I don't really prefer that. When it comes down to writing like a book or a novel or like a story, that's not how I am. I like to write novelty. I like to write I like to write to connect emotion to the one who is reading. So once again, you can have that writing like pretty much like the Bible, and it's okay. Not my cup of tea, but it's okay. Some people like it, some people don't, and that's just how it is sometimes. And you like it. It is an art form to where people base their own opinion of the game. And so we have to understand that, more than anything, that this isn't a piece of art, and thus you have to experience it for yourself. Do not let someone else tell you of their experience, because very possibly your experience with this is going to differ tremendously from their experience. All right? Trust me, I remember when I was... I had one guy, he told me this. Before I got God of War, the new one, the 2018 one, before I got God of War, people told me that game sucked. Yeah. They said that game sucks, it's trash, it's too childish, I can't play it. And for a second there, I believed them, like, I ain't getting that game. And out of complete curiosity, because one of my friends, he asked me, hey man, have you heard about the new God of War game? I said, yeah. And he says, here man, I have it, and I've already beaten it already, but, would you like to play it? And I said, okay, sure, fine. I got it, guys, and it's one of the best games I've ever played. I'm not kidding. It's right up there with Red Dead Redemption 2 and The Last of Us Part 1, okay? It's right up there. Alright. It is. So you cannot rely upon someone else's experience, because what they like is maybe different from what you like. Alright? So, this is the biggest problem, because we think that The Last of Us Part 2 sucks because we hate it. That thus means everyone hates it. And if you do like it, something's wrong with you. No, it's just that you like stuff like this. You like the dark stuff. You like stuff that grips you emotionally, that gives you real emotions. Okay? I've said this before. If Joel was any other person in Part 2, no one would have cared. I'm not kidding, no one would have cared. But since it's Joel dying, we lose our crap. We deal with grief and anger. That's real emotions. When Sarah died in Part 1, none of us cared. Not the way that we cared about Joel when he passed and when he was killed. We did not care as much. The outrage, the anger was not at all even near as passionate as the reaction of Joel's death. It was completely just no. No. And that's why I get why they did it. It gives you so much real emotion. There's real emotion. There's real grief. You are dealing as if you've lost somebody. And you deal with that grief for pretty much the rest of your life. That's real. It's real. And that's what makes this game so good. And that's why I say, in a sense, it's better than Part 1. Because Part 1 didn't capture the same amount of grief and real emotional trauma. Because I play the Part 1 again, and trust me, guys, I play Part 1, it breaks my heart. I have a hard time playing Part 1. I do. But I learned things about Part 1 almost every time I open that thing up. It was literally about Joel, one, losing his innocence, then Ellie losing hers. It was I learned new things about the game. And it's because it wasn't as emotional for me. Alright, it wasn't as emotional for me. It didn't impact me so badly to where I dealt with grief and anger and sadness and just heartbrokenness. Like, man, dude, that just sucks. And the flashbacks of when Joel and Ellie, dude, oh man, it just breaks your heart. It breaks it so bad. And those are real emotions, man. Those are real emotions. Now people say, well, I don't like that. But that is some of the best types of narrating and story directing, is when you can make people, your audience, feel real emotions as if it happened to you. It is not easy to do that. You really have to have some guts. And not only that, but you really gotta get people to fall in love with a character first. you know, and then you get like break their hearts, you know, and sometimes people just get angry and they never walk away. They just walk away from it. Some people are grieving over it. Like, they are literally, like, I'm still grieving from over Joel. Because I love the man. I loved him. Even though he wasn't real, even though he's a gaming character, I cared about Joel. Because I grew up just playing this game and loving this game. And it's been there in the times where I've really been in a hard place. And so, I mean, guys, I mean, that is just the truth here. You know, and so that's just the truth that, you know, this game can make you feel things that will really hurt you, man. And it does, man. I'm not kidding. It hurts you. And to be honest with you, we need that today. We need that. And people say, whoa, Brian, what do you mean? What do you mean we need that? We need games like that are able to communicate such real emotions. Because these are things that people deal with. Alright? Death is not something that just, it's not epic. It's not this, he went out like a goat. You know, he didn't go out in style. Some people die so like that and brutal, you don't get to say goodbye. Alright? Not many people get a Tony Stark, Arthur Morgan ending. The majority of people, they die in car crashes. Or any other thing you can think of. People die just like this. And it's just, that's why The Last of Us Part 2, it's real. And it gives you real emotions. Because he died and it was like losing a family member, man. It was like, just they're there, and then they were there, then they weren't. It's real emotion, and there are not many people I can put a ribbon on that say, you know what, you made me feel real emotions, and I literally still today feel like I lost him and I lost a family member, like I lost someone I really, really loved. Not many people can do that. I can't even remember the last time. I can't remember any time in my life where I've ever had that type of pain. Just can't remember it. I cannot remember it. So that's what I have to say about this entire thing. About Abby getting this, you know, Abby having some trailer. I do think it's going to draw people. It's to draw people in, new players who haven't played this game yet, you know. And they've heard the reviews from the majority and the public, and it's kind of wavered their opinion, and it's kind of directed it for them, and they haven't really made the decision themselves, because once again, you can't do that. You can't say, you know, you can't make your decision based off of someone else, man. Experience the game for yourself, and you will have your own opinion. Don't let someone give it to you. Experience it. Oh, well, it costs a lot of money. My friend, it is 40% off. Alright? It is 40% off. Alright? They have reduced the payment. That game, in my opinion, it should still be $60. It should be $60. Alright? It should be. And they did this before Christmas. For Christmas Day came sort of coming along. Alright? Alright? I mean, it is because they want people to play their game. Is it really a bad of advice that they want people to play their game? Isn't that the reason that they literally made it? Was to get people to play it? That'd be like me saying, you know what, I'm going to produce a book, but I do not want anyone reading it. No, when I write this thing, I'm writing it because I want people to enjoy it. I want people to read it. I don't want it to be on the shelf and then no one ever touch it. That's stupid. It's like worthless. Why would I do that at all? And so to me, it's like, is it really bad of advice? Really a bad thing that they really just want people to play their game? That they have spent 6 years trying to make? That they've done a great job, like with gameplay and combat. And some people don't like the gameplay and combat. I'm like, man, what's wrong with you? I'm kidding. But that's. I mean, so I don't know what else to tell people who don't like this game. If you don't like this game, you don't like this game. But if you've never played this game, but you've only been given your own opinion by someone else, and you've made your decision based on someone playing the game for you, have you really experienced it fully? No, you have not, because there's a difference between watching someone play a game and to tell you their review, and to have their opinion become yours. Are you really experiencing it? No, you're not. And so buy the game. I think it's discount. I think the discount's pretty big. I think it's bigger than 40, I think. I mean, guys, play the game. And if you don't like it, then you don't like it, man. I mean, if you really believe that you're not going to like this game, then don't buy the game. All right? But just don't. I don't know. I've defended this game before, and I always will, because it's one of the greatest games I've played. Because the way that it made me feel. It made me feel I had real emotions. We need games where they will make you feel emotions so that you can actually deal, because sometimes we get cold, all right, and we meet people that are hurting or in pain, and they lost somebody, and we can sympathize and empathize with that person, all right. That's one of the reasons why pain exists, so you can sympathize with other people, so you're not some sociopathic monster who has gone through nothing and has no humility, no brokenness, and he's just some guy who's just has everything good in his life. So this is my opinion with the entire Abby trailer. I have no problem with them making trailers for new players. I know that I said it's very unlikely that they will. This is a sign, like a foreshadow, they're going to be releasing something new in the future. They obviously are releasing stuff in the future. Obviously, Factions is one of them. All right, Factions 2 is one of them. All right, and because they've told us that they are doing that. I mean, even Neil Druckmann's even confirmed that a month ago. I think, or not a month ago. Geez, in September he kind of confirmed that they're working on it as a solo project. So, do I know when it's going to happen? Gee, I don't know. I just do not know when that's coming out. But before, I literally had another episode planned. I was going to make, comparisons between Ellie and Abby. First with, I think the entire episode, will be dedicated just to having their love relationship with someone else destroyed. You know, Abby having her relationship with Owen destroyed. Remember when Owen took her first to the aquarium, you know, and she said she pretty much threw their relationship down the toilet because she wanted revenge against Joel. And then you kind of have the same thing happening with Ellie and Dina, where pretty much after Ellie and Dina and Tommy and Jesse was killed, I mean, Abby practically almost killed all of them. All right. After all that happened, they went to some farm because they talked about how Dina wanted to be on a farm. Remember when they had that huge exploration area in the game, or in the first part of the game after Joel passed? You go in this big giant, it's part of this huge city because the quarantine in Seattle was huge. It's gigantic. All right, and that big place, they talked about, hey, I would like to be on a farm and stuff like that. After that happened, Tommy comes by and tells her, we found Abby. We found her. And then she has the PTSD, she has the nightmares, the PTSD, the hallucinations. She has them. All right? She's traumatized, okay? So we understand that. And so That's what I was going to talk about. But then this trailer came out, and I was like, okay, all right, what's happening next? And I thought I'd just share my thoughts about it. I didn't plan this thing out, so it's probably not going to be like some flowing podcast episode. So I just want to give you my thoughts on this Abby, this Abby trailer. I really do hope that they do give something. I know, like to know the history of Abby. But I think they've kind of already went over the past couple of years, because there was only 5 years. Okay, 5 years. 5 years was the timeline between when Joel killed everybody, and then her father, and then to where she killed him. It's only 5 years. I mean, it's not that long. It's only 5 years. Now, Joel, in the beginning of the game, of part 1, 20 years, guys. 20 years. That's something. They can do something with that. And they can do a lot with this stuff. They still, remember, we have the HBO series still. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, this stuff can, there are a lot of things that can happen. But I really would like, what I would like to have my own wish list for what I would want for a DLC, it would have to be Tommy. It'd have to be. It would have to be Tommy, because Tommy, he was the only perspective we didn't get in Seattle. Alright? Because Tommy was a huge part in this game. Because he killed so many wolves. He did, guys. He killed so many. He killed Manny. He shot him right in the head with a sniper rifle. Or it's more like a marksman rifle, but, whatever. When that scene, guys, I've already showed you my reaction to that thing. Oh, man. That scene, that encounter was so epic, dude. You could not get better than that, dude. You just couldn't. Yeah, man, my arm hurts a little bit. But it couldn't get better than that. It was crazy. I watched some people play that scene, and even people said, like, dang, dude, I take it back. This game's cool. And, yeah. I loved it, man. I loved it, and I would really love to see with Tommy. I would love to see it. Love to see it. But anyways, guys, this is my video. Once again, please do think about leaving a comment and saying, hey, Brandon, do you want to? We would like to see the compilation of all the Last of Us gameplay. If I don't get anything, then I'm still gonna post it. Okay, I will still post it. So you just tell me if you would like the idea of it, and if you guys do get on the comment section and you do tell me this, I will start working on it right now. I will. But if you don't, I will work on it in my own time, and it'll be released later. All right, it won't be released as soon as it won't be something on my priority list. So, if you want to, comment down below and just tell me if you want to see it or not. I have made other Last of Us Part 2 gameplay. I've made like 2, I think. I think I made one with Ellie when she was trying to track down Nora, and then 2 was with Abby when they were trying to get to the fob. Alright, so those are the 2 gameplays. I will put them in the description down below. Hopefully. Because I've been having a hard time. Yeah, I've been having a difficult time trying to keep my promises on this. So anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, consider subscribing, and comment down below if you want to see some Last of Us Part 2 hours of combat, murder, and killing sprees. So, but anyways, with that being said, guys, see you guys in the next episode, where we'll talk about Abby, the comparison between Ellie and Abby. Alright, so see you guys later.